Hi, I am Kathy, and earlier today I made a video for someone on our Facebook group, um, Quilter's Creative Touch, that was asking about using the partial rows, or as we like to call them in our Facebook group, the partial diamonds at the end of the pantograph page, the bottom of that page, to clip off a row to shorten it. And then Janet George suggested that since she was busy today in her garden, that maybe I could also include in a video one where you need to clip the pattern where it is above where your start point is, the green dot indicating your start point. So I think I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to share my screen. Right, see if I can get everything set up here. You can't see it, but I'm trying to move things around here on my Zoom page. All right, I think I'm good now. Okay, so I'm going to start in pantograph, and rather than build a pantograph, I'm going to use resume zone, and I'm just going to pick one that I've used before. And the reason that this is going to be helpful is it will open up in Zone Manager, and then I can pick the very last row. Here we go. So I'm going to pick the last row. So you'll notice that I am in 4-point placement. For what I'm going to show you, you can do this in center point placement as well. So I'm going to say OK. So I have simulated something earlier, so let me just remove that. Marking tool. Remove all. Okay, so now I'm just going to place this pattern simulation wise. So I'm going to place my A corner and my B corner. And when you're using 4-point placement, if you haven't done that, you don't have to place C and D. Those are optional. So you only have to place A and B. So saying that it's 4-point placement means that you can place four points, but you don't have to if you haven't used 4-point placement before. Okay, so now my pattern is placed. And what Janet was talking about is what if you needed to place um, cut off your pattern way up here. Uh, that was above where your start point is. And what she wants you to know is that then this point is going to move. So let me go ahead and simulate that for you. So I'm going to go to the plugins and I'm going to use my marking tool, and let's just simulate what will happen. Add, go all the way to here. We're just going to say that this is our line right here. This is where we've used the marking tool and we've marked out where is the bottom of our quilt. And so that is the bottom of our quilt. We do not want to quilt all the rest of this. So I would bring my sewing machine. I would look for the lowest point on this line because it's going to cut it off as a straight line. So if you go up to the highest point or a point that isn't the lowest, you might have part of your edge that isn't going to get covered. That's why it's really wise to use the marking tool and then find the lowest point. So let's just say that it's right here. I would bring my sewing machine to wherever that lowest point is. And right now you can see where that start point is. And so when I use this function right here, this is the partial row, or as we like to call it, the partial diamonds, and it's going to clip the pattern. And you're going to see that that start point moved. So now it's not where it was before, it's moved to another location. And I would like to add to this that sometimes you might even get a jump stitch or two. That has happened to me on a few occasions, and it's something you would probably just want to live with because you're not going to be able to use optimize to get rid of that, or you'll undo everything. So just know that your start point, when you use this feature, your start point can move, and you might get a jump stitch or two depending on what pattern and how short you make it. So you can also undo this by that button right there, the full diamonds, and your pattern will then be restored. So what I want to show to you while I'm at it is that while you can use this method while you are in center point placement, or whether you're using 4-point placement, you have some ways to start and stop or to lengthen and shorten a pattern that in 4-point placement that you do not have when you use center point placement. And so while I'm at it, I think maybe I'll just show you those differences. So as you'll recall, when we use this method right here, it actually cuts your pattern off. So nothing changes in your pattern. It just clips the pattern right where you ask it to clip it. But when you use 4-point placement, by default, when you place your A in your B corner, the lock height feature is already selected. So what that means is that you can adjust your pattern to the left and the right. If I were to place the C or the D right here, you'll see my height is not going to change, but it did move my pattern a little bit. That's what the 4-point placement allows you to do. It allows you to make some adjustments so that you're sure that your whole pattern is getting covered, which you can't do that in center point placement. But the other thing that it allows you to do is to lengthen and shorten by actually unlocking this and truly placing the third and the fourth or your C and your D corner. So if I needed to shorten this pattern, if it was just a little bit too long, I could bring it right up to where I wanted to shorten it. So if I go, that's the D corner, and that's the end of my quilt, that's the other corner. I can then shorten that line. But I want you to notice that it didn't clip the pattern, it kind of squished the pattern. So you're going to get a little bit of deformity or skewedness inside of your pattern when you do that. And you can do the other, you can go in the other direction too. If you were need to lengthen it a little tiny bit, you could do that well. You would as well. You could just pull your corner down, but you just need to recognize that it is going to skew your pattern just a little bit. And it's just up to you whether or not you're okay with how much it's going to be skewed. Now, clearly, if you had this situation up here where you were really off on your distance of your quilt, you would absolutely not want to use this method because you see it would try and take the whole pattern and smush it up like that. So that's not a scenario that you would want to use this method right here with a 4-point method. This method would be if you're talking about, an inch or 2 inches, because it is going to skew your pattern and it's not going to cut anything off. It's just going to adjust the length of your pattern in some manner. So those are some of the options, and I hope that this is helpful to some people. Again, I think it's good to know that this is turning it on that cuts the pattern off, and then you can remove it if you need to make an adjustment by doing the whole diamonds and the partial is the cutoff. And I sure hope that helps someone out there. Happy quilting.